Join me aboard my Mitsubishi Colt. This is me having my first drive in it. There we go. Oh yeah, smooth automatic. 25 miles an hour, it's already in top gear. This is ace. I mean, it's really luxurious. I've got power steering, I've got electric windows in the front, central locking, but not the passenger door because it doesn't work. Oh yeah, I can see the honeys digging this. Nice light power steering, lovely, job's a good one. So this car is a 1987 Mitsubishi Colt. The front end might seem familiar because it's what became the Proton in this country. Although the Proton was actually based on the Lancer. The Lancer's just one of these with either a big boot on the back or an estate with diagonal rear lights. Maybe I'll try and find a picture of one of those to really treat you with. I've known this car for several years and I once sat in it at an auto shite car meet, but I've never actually driven it before. So obviously the automatic gearbox is making it ideal for driving in rush hour traffic in Beckenham, which is awful. Oh, there's an opportunity. Come on, little car. So I bought this car because I wanted something for cruising to France in, and I may have ballsed up if I'm honest, because I don't think a 3-speed automatic on a 1.5 litre engine is going to be the best cruising car ever. Keep an eye on everyone at the moment. Oh, that steering is a bit too light, you know. It kind of doesn't feel over-assisted to start with, so you expect it not to be assisted, and then it very much is assisted. So I'm sure I'll adjust to that. You are now getting me trying to get used to this car. Let's check the brakes. Oh yeah, that seems reasonable enough. Nothing to get too excited about, but this motorcyclist will prefer it if I stop without hitting him. The car has an auto choke, and it started very nicely earlier today when I just gave it a quick check before signing the paperwork. Though because I've known the car and several of the owners who've had the car in the past few years, it's one of my less stressful purchases. Nice comfy velour seats. Ride seems pretty good so far, certainly better than a RAV4. There's something that's starting to get a little irritating in the RAV4 is the rather bouncy ride. So maybe this will be the cruiser of my dreams after all. And in terms of problems, apart from that central locking not working, and the complete lack of any stereo, and the fact there's a bit of vibration on idle there which is transmitting itself to my phone. The only other problem is that the stereo is entirely missing, and I think I've already said that. I'm getting confused. I'm trying to drive a car and talk to camera at the same time. I think what I meant to say is that the first 2 speeds on the heater fan don't work. Catastrophe. Fortunately positions 3 and 4 do work, and we've already tested some nice demister side vents. I like that in a car. So I think it's a Japanese car, it's going to be very practical. Oh yeah, they see me rolling, they love it. Maybe. It's certainly a very easy car to drive, and that's what the Japanese are very good at. Oddly, I've got little rotating controls for the wipers and the lights with a conventional stalk just for the indicator. Bear with me. Oh, don't drive at me in your hideous Porsche Cayenne thing like that. Quite difficult to navigate on roads you're unfamiliar on when talking to camera. Have I got right away? Well, if I don't hit anyone, it's probably alright. And I'm going to chuck it into the right hand around this roundabout. Whee! Quite roly-poly, I'd say. Am I going to Croydon or Crystal Palace? I'm going to guess Croydon. I think we can describe that as safe and secure. I'm not going to rally drive it just yet because I've only just got in it. Ah. Traffic lights. So the benefit of it being a 1468cc engine is that it's cheap road tax. It's in the same tax group as my Citroen 2CV, which is a bit alarming. By the way, you'll note I've still got it in drive and I've put the handbrake on. That's because in an automatic you're not actually doing any harm. I mean, eventually you'd probably generate a bit of heat if you left it in drive all day long, but there's no wear because it's like a fluid flywheel sort of a system. Basically got a turbine going round, so as soon as it can move the car it will, but until that point you might as well leave it in drive. If you keep shunting between drive and neutral, you're more likely to do more damage because you've got the thump of drive being taken up every time, and yeah, it's not quite as good as you might think it is. So if you've got an automatic, generally just leave it in drive unless you're stopped for a particularly long amount of time. I'll point out the fact my hand keeps appearing in shot and looking quite large. I forgot to mention that the fuel gauge doesn't work. I must remember this fact and remember to actually put some fuel in it. That would be a very good thing to do, I think. Traffic light Grand Prix. Can I take a Renault Scenic? Yes! Come on, little Colt! I concede I'm getting a bit bored of driving around urban roads now. I still haven't made it to any faster roads. I've discovered one issue. I have now filled the petrol tank and it was very reluctant to take a fill. Now, my suspicion is that the breather pipe's blocked, so it's just blowing back through the fuel you're trying to put in. Well, we're buzzing along at motorway speeds now along the M23 heading down into Sussex. It's rather peaceful. It's best if you don't look at the rev counter because it's doing 4,000 revs at 70, which I consider a bit much, but that's the downside of a 3-speed gearbox. So far though, given I've paid £280 for this car, which delivered the owner a £25 profit, I think this is really rather good, and it's a credit to all those previous owners. Thank you, previous owners. I hope I can keep up the good work. Today I'm mega miling it all around the country in my new £280 Mitsubishi Colt. Car which dates from 1987, has a 1.5 litre engine and an automatic gearbox. I'm currently in Sussex. I'm going to stray over to the other side of Sussex for a photo shoot in Chichester. Sorry, I'll give priority to actually not crashing. From Chichester I'm across to Southampton, and then I'm heading up to Donington Park, where me and my 70 brake horsepower Mitsubishi Colt are attending the Fast Car Festival. Well, to be fair, I've been asked to put together a stand for Retro Japanese magazine, and Retro Japanese magazine is not just about fast cars, so I need to have something to add a bit of balance, and this car is it. I think it'll go down really well, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, it's now 1:15 in the afternoon. I'm approaching Portsmouth. Stuck in Chichester where the traffic is terrible, and I'm very glad I've got a car that only has 2 pedals. It's joyous to drive in traffic, which is good because there's lots of it. Do hate driving in the south of England because too often it's just like this, crawling along, no fun at all. Traffic again. You join me much later in the day. I've now covered 143 miles in this car since I filled it up, and we're crawling our way along the M27, I think, or is this the M3? It's in the south, and yeah, it's still mind-numbing. Here's a question for you. How many miles does a Mitsubishi Colt do on a full tank of fuel? I would love to know the answer to that, because I do not have a working fuel gauge. We're now up to 211 miles and I'm wondering when I should get fuel. great speed again. We're now through Warwickshire, 279 miles covered, still haven't stopped for fuel. Hoping to come off the motorway fairly soon so I don't have to pay motorway prices. Let's hope I haven't got this horribly wrong. Well, I'm pleased to report I did make it to Donington. I've covered 330 miles and I still haven't put any more fuel in. I think leaving here tonight, fuel is going to be my priority. I can prove I'm at the Fast Car Festival because look at that over there. That's an Aston Martin Vulcan surrounded by people. They aren't surrounding my car in quite the same way. Because I'm rubbish, I forgot to do a video when I actually got home with the Colt, and the giveaway that it was ages ago is that my beard has grown back. Anyway, it did make it over 500 miles in the weekend and no trouble at all. It just sailed along very merrily and rather unexcitedly all the way. There is a problem with the fuel filler. It's been bodged up with a bit of pipe because it rusted away. There are other issues on this car as well. Let's go and take a look. It must be said, the rear arches not in the best condition. Nice bit of tape there. It's also had a smack up the backside at some point, and as you can see, it's all gone a bit darly.